Welcome back and welcome to day 6 update, day 7 video challenge. Can't believe it's the last video challenge, it's crazy. I did all but one. I did my own take on a couple of them, but I did all but one, which was the cosplay challenge, so I'm quite proud of that fact. Okay, so yesterday's reading, I finished off reading the Kelly Osbourne book. I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed it. She said some interesting things. She was completely honest and I really respected that, and I loved the structure of the different letters as well, so really enjoyed this one. Then I read some of Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud by Anne Helen Petersen. I thought I'd read more of this one than I had, but I'd actually only read the introduction, so this is still going to count as a full book if I finish this one, so just about there in that one. And then I started a new audiobook because you have to always have an audiobook on the go, and that was Hunger Makes Me a Modern Girl by Carrie Brownstein. I read roughly about 100 pages of that one, so I'm quite happy with yesterday's progress. It was a bit of a lazy day and we went to the cinema in the evening, so not too bad. So page count wise, when you add on the 244 pages of Kelly Osbourne, we get to 2,409 pages, and then the 100 pages I read of Carrie Brownstein plus the 72 pages I read of Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud brings my total so far to 2,581 pages. So 2,500 pages I think is pretty good for the BookTubeAthon so far. So we're working on today, Sunday, finishing my current reads. There is also the 4th part in the Picture House by the Sea series by Tamsin Murray. No, Picture House by the Sea series by Holly Hepburn, which is released at midnight in the UK on the 31st of July, which will mean that it's released at 5 p.m. here in Denver. So I'm hopefully going to read that as well today. So I've got a couple of half books to finish and a novella book to read. So hopefully that's going to be my reading progress for today. So today's video challenge is set by Ariel to tell her a story about a book that meant a lot to you. So I've actually got a couple of books which are kind of around the same theme. So I've got one bit of hair blowing in my eye. Around the same theme that I read at the same time. And these books are I Heart New York by Lindsay Kelk, which of course is one of the books that we were reading for the I Heart book club for the release of I Heart Forever. I didn't read it on Kindle because obviously I didn't have a Kindle at the time it was released. I read it in a paperback. And then another book where I haven't got the version that I actually read because this author came to my school, and so all my copies of her book went into school, of course never to be seen again. The children loved reading these books, and so I have a large print edition of this one, and that is A Fairy Tale of New York by Miranda Dickinson. All the paperback versions of this book that I had, of this book and her subsequent books, went into school and were read and loved, and are hopefully still being read and loved, because there's not really any sex or swearing in these books. So when the kids met her, they wanted to read her books, which was fantastic. She did some great work with the kids at school that year, and yeah, like I say, my subsequent year 6s after that I've been enjoying reading her books, which is really cool. These two books, they kind of fit together. I read when I was having just a really rubbish time, and I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, I was in a really rubbish relationship, and these books reminded me that books were there for escapism. I'd just finished my first year of teaching, and so I hadn't really been reading a lot during that year, because your first year of teaching is a massive learning curve. I mean, for me, I had the most gorgeous class. It was a tiny class, and they were absolutely gorgeous, so it wasn't the actual kind of work around the kids, but the kind of fitting in with all the paperwork and fitting into school life and things like that that was made that year kind of hard. And so I didn't read so much that year. And so when I didn't have a job anymore, I was just doing supply teaching, but obviously being a new teacher and it being the end of, so I was teaching in Scotland and then moved to England, so it was the end of the English school year and then the beginning of the English school year. It just, there wasn't a lot of work around. So yeah, I was doing a bit of tuition on the side and working in a pub as well and trying to just get some money, and all of my stuff was in storage. So I didn't have any of my books around, and the Lindsay Kelk book came free with a magazine. I don't know if I even got the magazine or if somebody else got the magazine and gave me the book. And then I just happened to have Miranda Dickinson's book. I think I must have like taken a few out of storage or not put them into storage. And yeah, it was kind of my introduction back into reading after a period of not really reading, because the year immediately before my first year of teaching, I was doing a PGCE as well, so I wasn't reading much at the time then. And yeah, they reminded me of the escapism that reading could bring, and both of these books and these authors allowed me to escape to a place that, you know, I'd visited a couple of times before and knew that I really loved. And yeah, they allowed me to escape that rubbish that was going on in my real life and go and be in New York and spend some time with Angela and just escape and be in New York. So they're kind of the books that I wanted to talk about. I could have talked about a couple of books that I've already talked about in my videos already, but I decided to do those ones. And yeah, it reminded me that reading is a form of escapism and can take you away from your everyday life for the duration of the book. And reading is fabulous, obviously. We know that, we're on BookTube. It's amazing, and I have reread both of these books and loved them. I reread Fairy Tale of New York before I'll Take New York came out, which I do guest star in. So, you know, if you haven't read those two books, you really should, because I pop up in the second one. So that's really cool. Okay, I will be back tomorrow with my BookTubeAthon wrap-up. It's going to be weird not having a challenge video tomorrow, but I'm excited to share exactly what I've read over the course of the readathon. As always, I am keeping updated on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, Snapchat. All the links for those are in the description below. I also will leave a link to the original challenge video that Ariel posted. I always leave the link to the original video down below and the little clicky subscribe thing to the BookTube channel at the end. And I will see you with that video tomorrow. Bye.